Hey everyone, so today's video is yet another watch video, and I know you've already seen these watches individually, my vintage Omega Seamaster as well as my Square G-Shock, but today I wanted to kind of showcase them together as a collection and also explain some of the reasoning behind why I chose both of these watches. So I think that the two watch collection I currently have is the perfect collection for me, especially at under a budget of $750 approximately. And let me explain why. So I want a collection of watches that I can use pretty much anytime, any place, and always have the correct watch for the occasion. However, I did not want to buy a ton of different watches for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, I feel like within that $750-ish budget, the more watches I buy, each individual watch is not going to be as high-end. So instead of this Omega, if I wanted to swap this out with about 2 or 3 watches and still keep that same budget, let's say I wanted to exchange this for, a dress watch and also a field watch and also a diver. That would put me at about maybe $200 a pop for each of those, which you do get some quality watches in that price range. You do get in-house movements, you can get a good Seiko or an Orient, but at the same time, it would definitely not be the same caliber as a Swiss Omega watch with that kind of brand heritage. So that's the main reason. That's one of the main reasons why I stuck to only 2 watches. I did have other watches before. I used to have an Invicta. I used to have, I think, a Kenneth Cole dress watch, as well as a Citizen watch, which I sold all 3 of those actually to buy this Omega. So let me explain the use cases for each of these watches. So this Omega is kind of my, it's my nice watch. It's my fancy watch. This watch I wear when I'm dressed up casually, but I do want to maybe have, slightly nicer watch on my wrist. And given the size and the look of this watch, I also think it would still make a nice dress watch that I could wear this with a casual outfit, or I could wear this with something more formal and it would not look out of place with either one. I think the leather strap and kind of the simplistic, minimalistic design of this watch contribute to that. So this is basically the nice watch that I can wear for a lot of different nicer occasions, or just when I want something nicer on my wrist. Now this G-Shock, on the other hand, this is my beater watch, of course, as I've covered before, and I think with the 2 watch collection, I wanted to have something that was most definitively a beater that could take any kind of abuse. So diver watches and field watches are pretty tough. They're pretty resilient. But at the same time, they lack some of the features that this G-Shock does, which I've covered in another video, such as the multi-band 6, radio time syncing, as well as the solar power. And it just lacks the durability. Some of these field watches and divers kind of lack the durability of a G-Shock, which is, tried and proven is to be some of the toughest watches in the world. So this is for the gym, for getting dirty, for all these other situations where I know the Omega can't be worn, or at least not worn without causing damage, or potentially, or scratching it, or nicking it, or worse. So I think the beater watch is a fairly self-explanatory piece of this collection, right? I think everybody in their collection has some kind of a beater watch. Might be a mechanical watch, might be a quartz watch like this, but I'm sure everyone has some kind of a beater in their collection that they can just throw on whenever, wherever. So if you're trying to shop for your own watch collection in approximately the $750 price range, I think there are 2 different routes you could take, right? I think there's a sort of a quality versus quantity approach. So the quantity approach would be, again, as I kind of previously touched on in this video, is maybe instead of buying just one watch like I bought the Omega, instead of splitting that up into watches of different kinds, you could get a dive watch, a field watch, a dress watch, and have a variety of different watches in different styles to wear for different occasions. However, in my case, I wanted just one watch that I could wear most of the time, and then one watch to wear when I just wanted to have a beater on. So the quality approach then would be, again, in my opinion, buying something a little more higher end, maybe the $600-ish price range, which is where vintage Omegas like this typically fall. So I paid about $615 for this, and in my opinion, it's really worth the price, because you're getting this manually wound, gorgeous Swiss movement in-house from a brand as reputable and legendary in the watch world as Omega, and with the name as iconic as a Seamaster. And you're getting it for a fraction of what a new Seamaster would cost. You're still getting that Swiss brand cachet, that in-house movement, that quality, that reputation, but all at a fraction of the cost of a brand new Omega. And that's what really appealed to me about this. Of course, vintage watches do have their drawbacks, which I'm going to cover in another video soon. Yeah, I just really decided that for my personal taste, 2 watches was more than enough. Again, your mileage may vary, But if you did want to get a nicer vintage watch like this, I would strongly recommend looking online first. There's many different sites. I personally use Reddit's Watch Exchange to purchase this from another Reddit user. But I do have to warn you, of course, when you're buying on an online forum or buying a vintage watch like this, there's definitely going to be some risk of getting something that might not be working properly, that might have some damage. So definitely do your own due diligence and make sure that you're researching the watch, researching the reference numbers, and just researching the seller, and just making sure that everything is legit. Otherwise, you could get burned. Yeah, guys, that's my 2-watch collection, and I hope this gives you a little more insight into why I made the purchasing decisions that I did. Of course, over time, I do want to expand on this collection. I don't know when I'm going to do that, because I feel like if I were to buy another watch, I would want something at a higher price range than this Omega, and frankly, I just don't have enough saved up for it just yet. So, yeah, hope you liked this video. Hope this provided some more insight into how I built my collection and how you might be able to do something similar. And if you have any questions, of course, please leave them in the comments. And a like and a subscribe would be much appreciated. Thank you, guys.